Good morning and welcome to a quite beautiful morning on the Isle of Mull. I think we were due it after the weather we've had over the weekend. And for those of you who don't live in this area, we've had 50-mile-an-hour winds in May. What's all that about? And not too warm either. Anyway, hopefully this is a bit more of what we're going to expect in the coming weeks. And today's message from Mull is leave a little room for nature. Now, we've already spoke quite extensively in one of the messages from Mull before about the positive aspects of being in contact with the natural world, getting into green spaces and wild spaces just like this. And one of the most positive things that we've had in terms of feedback from you guys over the last 9 weeks is the amount of you that are getting into your garden and have started taking up gardening a little bit more seriously or spending a lot more time in the garden because of the enforced lockdown. And for us, that's just awesome because the garden is just like a big outdoor green gym. You're moving earth around, you're moving plants and shrubs around, and that's fantastic for developing muscle strength and keeping flexibility and developing bone density. Getting fresh air, getting some natural sunlight as well is good for vitamin D production. Again, that helps with bone density. And we also know that a lot of you are commenting on the fact that you're hearing the birds more, you're coming into contact with wild animals a lot more, and that's fantastic for controlling stress and anxiety. It boosts our immune system, it helps produce endorphins, so natural feel-good chemicals. Um, and really for us, it lifts our soul to know that you guys are out there and doing the things that we've been trying to get people to do via healthy options. And you guys are just picking it up and running with it, which is absolutely fantastic. The message from Mull, leave a little room for nature, is on two parts really. A, leave a little room in your life for contact with the natural world. I wish I wasn't contacting with quite so many midge. They seem to like the back of my neck for some reason. Um, but also within your gardens, and I know you've been working away and I'm sure you'll be ultra proud of what you're producing. Maybe just leave a little section of it unmanicured, um, where you let it go a little bit wild because nature doesn't like manicured gardens. It doesn't like things to be tidy um, in the way that we do, in the way we find things visually pleasing when everything is in order and tidy. Now, if you have a small garden, hey, I get it, right? I'm not expecting you to have your garden upside down if it's quite small and you've got limited space. But if you have a slightly larger area, perhaps you could consider leaving 5-10% and just let it go a little bit wild. Instead of cutting all the grass, maybe leave the grass to grow, maybe around some of the edges, especially if you border onto wild areas. Because then you'll be encouraging a habitat for small animals, for insects, for small rodents, and in turn they will attract some larger animals, maybe the stuff that we find a bit more interesting as well. Maybe look up certain flowers you could plant to help our pollinators, to help our bees, our butterflies. Maybe feed the birds. One of the first messages that went out from us was Ian Malarvey in his garden, feeding the birds. And I thought that was fantastic because straight away he was thinking, we're in for the long haul here and I'm going to try and make sure I bring wildlife to me if I can't always get out to them. And even at this time of year, although a lot of the birds are feeding fledglings, then it's still a good time though for the adults to get some easy access to food. And I know that my feeders are still rammed with birds. If you've cleared an area of scrub, instead of ripping it all out, perhaps could you leave a little bit? Could you leave a few piles of wood, good for things like hedgehogs, for them to make little nests and areas where they can sleep. Instead of ripping out all the leaves that have fallen from last year, again, maybe leave a few. Just basically let nature do its thing in your garden and you will benefit from the animals that come in because of that. So that's today's message from Mull. It's simple and quick, and then I hope you get the benefits from that. Um, Today, forecast is good until later on, so I hope you're out this morning and make use of this as I am. And we'll be back later on with exercise of the day. And hope you have a great day, guys. And as always, stay safe. And finally, remember, if there is something specific you want us to work on, then please send a request in and we will start doing a bit more one-to-one work with you. Thank you so much for those who have sent in requests last week or who have set requests up as we've been doing the phone calls, and I'll be getting on to those straight away this morning. In the meantime, stay safe. Take care. Bye-bye.